Hi everybody, welcome to the very first episode of Intermittent Fasting on FemFast Studio. Many of you have reached out to me and asked me how I got from this to this, and I've heard you, and I'm here to answer all your questions on Intermittent Fasting 101 coming up. Did you know that what you eat and when you eat it is more important in breaking a fast than actual breakfast? Hi, my name is Esther, a health and wellness enthusiast, here to inspire and motivate you with awesome content to get you started on your fasting journey to a slimmer and healthier you. If you're new to my channel, please watch this video to the end, give it a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and click the notification bell to get notified every time I upload new content. Right, so my personal journey with intermittent fasting started in May 2019 and it's absolutely changed my life. In a period of 11 months, I lost a total of 55 pounds, 24 kilos, and I've never felt as good as I feel today. If you struggled with weight, then you know how frustrating it can be to spend tons of money on quick weight loss strategies that do not work. The stress of those numbers going up the scale every time you weigh yourself is a shared concern. You are not alone, and it's okay to accept that for real change to happen. After the births of my children, I gained a lot of weight. I tried so many diets and I paid for a lot of quick fixes, which worked fine, except that I gained back all the weight and more shortly after. I mean, don't you just hate those yo-yo diets? Losing, gaining, losing, gaining, losing, gaining. Eating had become this guilty nightmare of a habit that I found myself constantly doing. I ate because I could afford it. I ate because I was bored. I ate because I was stressed and I'm a stress eater. I ate because I had to mommy and cook for my family 3 meals a day. I ate because I could eat, and I was okay with it until the guilt came in, you know. And I know, and stop me if I'm wrong, many of you are doing it because you're in a forced lockdown that you have no control over and you just can't help yourself. You stocked up your house and the food is right there. And if that is true, then there is no better time to start intermittent fasting than right now. So we need to learn how to control our food portions and be able to eat better and sustain our bodies and get out of this whole thing healthier and leaner and not a lot of extra pounds more. Okay, so what is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is an ancient feeding technique that has been practiced by millions of people for centuries for spiritual, health, and religious reasons. It usually involves fasting between 12 hours or more. There are so many ways you can intermittent fast, like the 13-hour synced circadian rhythm, where you keep your feeding window within 11 to 12 hours. I'll give you an example. You have breakfast at 7 in the morning and you have your last meal at 6 or 7 p.m. Those are 12 hours of feeding and 12 hours of being in a fasted state. The 16-8, which is the most popular intermittent fasting technique, I call it the 2 meals a day. So you have a 16-hour fasting window and an 8-hour feeding window. You can have breakfast and lunch and skip dinner, or have lunch and dinner and skip breakfast. Whatever you choose, you just have to make sure that when you eat, you keep it within 8 hours, because then you need 16 hours of fast. The 5-2, eat normal for 5 days and eat 500 calories or less for the other 2 days. You get to choose which 2 days of the week you want to eat those 500 calories in. And then there's the OMAD, 1 meal a day, which is also called the 24. So you keep in fasted state for 20 hours and then you have a 4-hour eating window where you have your 1 meal. The OMAD technique is for advanced fasters and it trains your body to burn multiple sources of fuel for energy. And then there's extended fasting, which ranges from 24 hours to 7 days or more. This is great for achieving autophagy and increasing your human growth hormone. I personally do not recommend for anybody to do more than 72 hours of an extended fast for various reasons that I'll explain to you later on as we go along on this fasting journey together. Because there's so many fasting protocols, you may be wondering, how do I get started? Where do I begin? Oh, so many, which one do I pick? Despite doing a lot of research, I know I had the same question, but don't worry, I have deep dived into this. I have tried each and every single fast, and I'll break it down for you in my upcoming videos as we go along. But the beauty of intermittent fasting is that it's super flexible, it's free, and you can fit it into your schedule to make it work for you. Today, backed by amazing health research, intermittent fasting is a very popular transformational health and fitness trend with benefits like lowered blood sugar, decreased cancer cells, improved self-esteem, ketosis, which is when your body starts to break down and burn fat, mental clarity, spiked human growth hormone, and my favorite one, weight loss while maintaining lean muscle mass, and autophagy, which is the body's natural removal of cellular waste. Many of these benefits will not happen if you're in a constant fed state. Whenever we eat food, a fat storage hormone called insulin increases and communicates to our bodies to reserve it as fat for later. If your blood sugar is persistently high over time, it results into weight gain, which later leads to obesity and the negative health effects that come with that, like stress, diabetes, low self-esteem, high blood pressure, and so many more. We will get into the pros and cons of intermittent fasting in detail as we go along. But in a society that's prone to overeating and having 3 regular meals a day and snacking in between, denying yourself food for a period of time is not only frowned upon, but can be a very big challenge when getting started in fasting. For this reason, it's normal to feel skeptical. There is no right or wrong way to fast, really. Intermittent fasting is not an absolute fast. You can still consume 0-calorie drinks on a clean fast, as they do not break your fast. Some people opt for a dry fast and consume nothing at all, and others would prefer to have a dirty fast and drink things like detox juices and coffee with a dash of milk. At the end of the day, it's about figuring out what works for you and what can get you through your long fast, making your fasting experience smoother while reaping its health benefits. Now you may ask me, can someone intentionally starve themselves all for the hope of achieving some kind of health benefits or weight loss? Well, intermittent fasting is not starvation, and I'll tell you why. Starvation is an involuntary, severe lack of food where your body has depleted all its energy, resources, and has resorted to eating itself out, which in the long run leads to organ damage and in some severe cases, death. While with intermittent fasting, it is a choice. You choose when you get to eat and when you get to fast in a controlled nutritional feeding pattern. Every one of you has fasted in one way or another and not even realized it. Every time you don't eat, you're technically fasting. At night, when you go to sleep and you don't consume food for 8 hours or more on end, you are fasting. When you're at work and you skip lunch because you're too busy or you just don't have the time for it, you have fasted. However, to reap the benefits of fasting, you should keep your eating window to 12 hours or less. The shorter your eating window, the better the benefits of a fast. That said, unfortunately, intermittent fasting is not for everybody. If you're a child under the age of 18 or an adult over the age of 70, do not fast. If you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, if you have type 1 diabetes, do not fast. If you're suffering from eating disorders like bulimia or anorexia, do not fast. If you're not sure where you fall, please consult with your health professional to make sure that this lifestyle is right for you. Okay, so what do you eat when breaking your fast? I recommend you cut down on your intake of processed carbs, sugars, refined grains, artificial fat, and reduce on your alcohol consumption as well. Instead, opt for real whole organic foods, unprocessed carbs, and natural fats. Remember, I said cut down, do not ever eat these things again. The beauty with IF is that you can eat a lot of things, but you have to be smart about your food choices to be able to get the benefits of a fast. Like Dr. Justin Fung says in this book, The Complete Guide to Fasting, real foods have no labels. So if you can get your hand on real organic food, even better for your body. Do your research, start now, read, give yourself a realistic timeline and goal so you don't stress about it if you don't lose those 10 kilos in 2 weeks. Come on guys, 10 kilos in 2 weeks. It is achievable, but we have done that on the short quick term fixes and we know it doesn't work because it always comes back. Your body has not gotten to a point where it has adapted or adjusted to that short-term change, and you're going to go back to your old habits. Slow and steady is better, because as you lose that weight slowly, you learn how to maintain it and then keep it off for even longer. Make sure to keep hydrated at all times. Drink water. I drink apple cider vinegar in water, or lemon juice, or green tea, or any herbal teas that I like. No sugar at all in any of these drinks. Exercise, take a walk. If you really don't want to work out, or if you really have not been exercising at all, start slow with things like walking or swimming, or anything that you find that you can do without really thinking too much about it and feeling like, I'm going crazy. And then slowly, when you keep losing the weight, you're going to find it yourself pushing yourself, to working more hours, or running even, and doing other exercises on your body as you go. If you want to start intermittent fasting today, I recommend you start with the circadian synced rhythm, which is the 13-hour fasting window, and eat within 11 hours window. So you have your breakfast at 7, and make sure that you have your last meal by 6 p.m. and then eat nothing until the next day at 7 as well. And then slowly, when you get used to that, you can start increasing an hour more. Instead of 13 hours of fast, make it 14 hours of fast, and then 10 hours of eating. Do not try to overpush yourself when starting out. Otherwise, it is easier to binge eat because you feel like you're really starving, and then you're gonna fall off the wagon because you're not losing the weight. And most importantly, be thoughtful of what you eat when you're breaking your fast. Make sure that your food is a rainbow plate of healthy, nutritious goodness. Have some protein, have some foliage, have some carbs, have some natural fat, or just make sure that your plate is balanced out so that your body can reap all that nutritional goodness after it has been in fasted state for a lot of hours. And what I did when I started out is I also took photos and took my measurements, because there's some results that you cannot see in the mirror. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, the scale is not moving, but you do not realize that you're actually losing weight. So take photos. It always makes a difference when you can compare your before and your after, and you're like, oh my God, I actually did lose weight. So do that. Don't give up on yourself. Remember, every journey starts one step at a time. You have got this. Stay tuned for my next videos on intermittent fasting. I'll be digging deeper into each eating style, how you can get started. Please leave any questions and comments in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you with my feedback. Until next time, I'm out.